I mean, I don't – it's not a great look. Now, it's not the first time a national championship winning head coach has had multiple coordinators that he's had to replace. It's in the first time.
No.
And I think Ohio State can have will have the pick of the litter of who they can go get as their OC or as their DC. The question now becomes, are you replacing one coordinator or both? And I think that that's even a bigger question mark to have here. Now, in reference to DC, I think there's a plethora of guys that you can go and hire. I can think of one that could really take that job, and Ohio State fans have been clamoring for, but I think it may be a little too late. But we'll see. Joe, there's also
who are you referencing?
I saw a massive push about Larry Johnson today, the D-line coach. I don't know about that. I mean, I want somebody that calls plays, right? Like, you've already promoted from within, right? Like, you've already done the wide receivers coach, former Dolphins wide receiver, Brian Hartline.
It didn't work.
Go get somebody that's established. But I'll tell you this right now, no head coach in the country right now feels safe. No one. Because they can go and get whoever they want. Hey, brother, I got Caleb Downs and I got all these other freak of athletes that are here. It's a top-tier job. It's a top-tier position. Joe, they can go get whoever they want, relatively speaking.
Well, so you alluded to the possibility here of them losing Chip Kelly as well. That is, I really think that Chip Kelly is going to go to the NFL because this isn't a situation where there's one team that's a little bit interested. He's got 3-4 teams possibly on the table. Like,
look,
there is
Texans lead media guy came out today and said, "Hey, look, he's the top target." I mean, come on.
I mean, they really badly want him. The Jaguars want him, and then the Buccaneers are also in the mix. And the amount of bread that you can get for being a highly paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, I mean, it's premier money, and there's a little bit.
Do you want Travis Lawrence or C.J. Stroud, brother? Take your pick on who you want to call plays for.
Right, and I think ultimately he does have an aspiration to become an NFL head coach again, so maybe that's what he's going for. Part of me kind of wonders if maybe they try to go after Jason Candle, who's been brought up a million times, who's the Toledo head coach, if that's maybe the direction that we go in. I'd be interested to see that. Not to get too far off straight on candidate options. I'm not worried about Ohio State, Blake. I'm just not. I'm not, because they have done this before where they've had to replace coordinators. They have gone and found guys and brought in new coordinators, and they have not skipped the beat. There is such an easy selling point for being a part of the Ohio State program when they just won a national title. You get to be a part of this staff that Ryan Day has built with premier elite players. You get to say to the DC that you get to coach Caleb Downs. You get to say to the OC, you get to coach Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin. You know, your next job is going to be a head coaching gig if everything goes according to plan in the next 2 years.
Here's the thing, though. I do think the system of offense has got to change now, because I'm not saying is not a athletic kid. That's not the skill traits that you need to utilize him with. By the way, you have freaks at wide receiver, and you need to go utilize them. And I think Sam can deliver them the football. I'll push back on one thing. I know they can get whoever they want, but sometimes fit really matters here. Yeah, and I think the fit with a new quarterback in development. Joe, I look, I've been around two in media. I've been around two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. And I asked both of them, what is the biggest what helped you to also develop going into a second year as a player? First year as a starter, second year as a player. You know what both Jaden and Burrow both said? I have the same dude in the head. I say the headset, but the same guy telling me the same stuff over and over again. By the way, like Jaden, as an example, said, "Hey, this is the first time I've had the same coordinator back-to-back years." So I will. When you're breaking in a new quarterback and a new kid, I think that there's a big deal when it comes to the guy that's in the headset. By the way, the guy that's going to be in your helmet for every play call, right? Like it's a different lingo. He's got to pick it up. So we'll see. I agree with you, though. Ohio State will be fine. They can do and get whoever they want, relatively speaking. I think they can go get who – I think that there's some high names that they can go out there. Another thing with Ohio State, too. Joe, did you see these reports of teams coming after like Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate, and all those two. I mean, look.
I mean, I buy it. I mean, teams are not afraid to. They're not going to hide it. They're not going to hide it, and but I don't think any of those guys would be incentivized to like actually leave. You know, like I don't. Jeremiah Smith's not leaving. He just won a national title. I mean, no, ballsy as shit for those teams to throw money at him.
The only thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to be as bullish as you because when it comes to people being offered money, I think people will do whatever.
Yeah, but Ohio State's going to match.
No,
Ohio State's got the most money out of any of these teams.
Joe, there could be a booster in Texas that says I'll give this kid $3 million a year, and quite frankly, no, they won't match it. No, they will not.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
The best player in the country.
I get that, dude. There's a number that you won't hit. There's a number you won't match. And I'm telling, there are programs that can go out there and outbid you. Ohio State's got a lot of money. You got that old money? I mean, Joe, let's talk about the team that's actually doing this now. I mean, let's call it what Texas emergence really is here. They're outbidding everybody for who they want.
I get that, but Ohio State, I think, is smart enough to know specifically with Jeremiah Smith that they're going to pay the money to keep
I'm
him.
with you, but there's a number. Money talks and bullshit walks. Any Ohio State fan that doesn't understand that or realize when money's involved, I'm not saying anybody's going to do anything now.
I get that. The other for the Cornell Tate part of this, and I think that
that one makes a lot more sense.
Well, but the thing with that one, I think that there's a natural process that I think is happening here that I think a lot more guys are understanding. It's better for them. Sometimes if you have a successful season in a premier program, it's better for you to stay for that final year of your eligibility before going to because Cornell Tate had a great year for being the third receiver.
He's the third option. I mean,
but now he's the number 2, so he gets to play off of Jeremiah Smith, and then he can go
he
on
wasn't the third option. Let's call it what it is. When it comes to play calling, he was probably the 5th option.
Oh yeah, but he had a couple games where he was the guy that they were going.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to boost that up. I mean, when it comes to getting players the ball, I mean, he was probably the 5th option. Where's Henderson? Where's Judkins? Where's Smith? Where's Mbuka? Like that was the conversation that everybody was having.